waiting for presenter to share screen.
Okay, I've opened it up, so I don't know.
Yes, there it is.
You see it?
No. You have to go out and come back in.
Yeah, try to go out and come back in and then let us know. And if you can't see it, we'll have to take care of it after class. Okay, so it's called The Ancients, the hidden place. Now, the reason why I went over this particular topic this week is because of the conversation that we had on Thursday. Because it really seems like it's hard for a lot of people to realize, you know, that we are not new and that we're coming back. But I'm going from a different angle this time. I don't want to deal with the same topic. I have to approach it from a different angle because I think one of the things that we forget is that we're dealing with the creatorial God, the Elohim that created all things, and to know his mind and to understand his concepts is next to impossible. How he does what he does, when he does what he does, and sometimes he tells us why, and sometimes he doesn't. Everything beautiful in his time. Also, he has set the world in their heart so that no man can find out the work that Yah maketh from the beginning. So when you see all these people on TV, these scientists, some of they done figured out this and they done figured out that, They probably received it from the fallen angels, and it's not 100% accurate, even though they have people oohing and on. The scripture says that he fixed it so that no man can find out the work that Yah maketh from the beginning to the end. Any questions? No? Okay, let's go for it. He says, I know that whatsoever God doeth, it shall be forever. Verse 14. Nothing can be put to it, nor anything taken from it. And Yah doeth it that men should fear before him. All right, any questions about that? No. Because he doesn't want you to know the things that he knows and the way he does what he does. You wouldn't even understand it anyway, even with that CERN collider. They got that big old machine underground and speeding it up and doing all the things that they're doing just to be able to create a wormhole so that they could try to understand matter. And it's like he didn't do all that. All he did was speak it into existence. But man has always been trying to be God, and man has always tried to usurp God, and it's just not working. God is not allowing it to be so. Okay, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 15. Can somebody please put your phone on mute? Can you please mute your phone? Thank you. Regeneration. This is a problem for some people. And I'm going to tell you something. I have found this in another place. This is a whole nother part of Ecclesiastes that's not Ecclesiastes chapter 1. It says, that which has been is now. And that which is to be has already been. And Yah requires that which is past. So there's another confirmation that this thing is repeating itself. The other one that we usually read is Ecclesiastes chapter 1 and 9. But this is Ecclesiastes 3 and 15. That which has been is now. What does that mean?
What has been in the past is now, is taking place now again.
That's right. Everything repeats itself. And that which is to be has already been. So in other words, there's nothing new under the sun. Everything that we're seeing has been created at one point and has existed at some time. Yes. And Yah requireth that which is past. No, and I mean, I know it's hard to swallow, but this is just the way it is. You know, and it's not, you know, my grandmother and them used to always say, honey, ain't nothing new under the sun. Y'all think those is new fashions that that you wearing, we wore them back in such and such and such and such. We did our eyebrows like that back in such and such and such. Now they wearing the Mommy Dearest eyebrows. Where they draw them big old eyebrows up on their face. It ain't nothing new. They've been doing that. That Joan Crawford wore that stuff years ago.
So now that this is now that we're not in the newcomers class, can I say what I was going to say on Thursday about the apocalypse of Abraham?
Because we still in the newcomers class. But well, go ahead. I mean, but I'm well now because then you. Go ahead.
Okay,
go ahead. I know what you're gonna say. Go ahead, Brother Kevin.
No, I was just going to say, and that's why the Most High, when he showed Abraham the people that was born before him and the people that's coming after him, and Abraham, and he told him what the people was going to do, and Abraham said, you know, why are you going to let this happen? He said they already chose it.
Yeah.
He said they chose the outcome. So that lets you know that they had to have been here before. Something had to have been here before to where they chose it. That's all I wanted to say.
And if that's the case, if the people who have been is already here now, then that would stand the reason that we are the ancestors.
Also, sis, it also, if you insight on that, it lets you know it's a cycle. Everything has a cycle.
Yes, it is. Yes, and guess what? In order for you to make that cycle, you would have to be what?
Your own ancestor.
You got to be born again, wouldn't you?
Mm-hmm.
You have to be.
Yep.
We didn't live forever, so if they died, which we know they died, in order for that which has been is now, and that which is to be has already been, there is a cycle that we have to repeat, and there's nothing new under the sun in the cycle.
Okay, so what's the difference between that and reincarnation then?
Because to reincarnate, according to what I understand, is to be reincarnated, you're coming back as something else or someone else. Regeneration is two different things. And the Bible talks about regeneration.
That's right. Reincarnated means you can come back as a mouse, as a dog,
right.
as a rooster.
Yeah. Right.
Okay.
But regeneration means a cycle is repeating itself. So if that's the case and we're the same people, or we the same people, then we've already made a choice, like Brother Kevin said, whether we're going to go all the way or whether we're not. We just don't know what choice it is that we made, and we will at some point when it comes time to move.
So you're saying we're our own ancestors.
Well, if that which has been is now, then we've been here before.
Yeah.
I mean, that's all I'm saying, is that we've been here before. Now, the ancestors may not be in the cycle that we're in. Everybody may be on a different cycle. I don't know how that runs because the Most High, we just read, He won't let man know how he does things. I believe that the ancestors were the ancestors and they messed up. And I believe that at some point we came into existence and we made a choice. Whatever that choice was, we'll find out that later on down the line. You know, because we got to get where we're going. And the reason why I know that is everybody's not going to make it. It's only going to be a third of the people that's going to make it anyway. Even if we get millions and millions of people to come, it's only a third that's going to make it. But we got to get there. And that third can be an enormous amount of people. Any questions? Anything else?
Yes, sir. Ask something. Now, if we have already been here before and we had an assignment at that time that we were here and we did not complete that assignment, just like you said, Abraham and all them coming back, then we're coming back. Should we come back to complete the assignment that he has given to us?
I don't. That's a good question. I don't know. I mean, I can't say yes or no. We can only read the scriptures. Because I don't know. That's a good point, though. All right, here we go. Ecclesiastes 1, verse 9. through 11. He said, the thing that has been, now this is what we usually read, it is that which shall be. And that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. So, remember that. Then you go back up to 3, Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 15, it says, that which has been is now, and that which is to be has already been, and Yah requires that which is past.
Okay.
Then we go on, he says, is there anything whereof it may be said, see, this is new, it has already been of old times which was before us. So we have been here before. We was a part of the old times. Now, what old times that was, I do not know. I don't know how the cycle runs, what system the cycle is on. I wish I did know. I just don't. I don't know. I have a theory, but it's just a theory. I shared that with you Thursday night. It's just a theory. I believe in my theory. And please don't get me, y'all, but just saying, if we already awake, and we know who we are, and we're a part of the movement, then the family members who have died, who have never been a part of the movement and didn't know who they were, it would appear to me that they would have to come back. Maybe. Just a thought. All right, Here we go. Watch what it says. There is no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So it's a cycle. Like she said, some people come, and then those people, there'll be some more to come after that person, and they just don't know who you don't know. You don't have a remembrance of it. Now, you do have deja vu. And you can have it, I have it real strong sometimes, and sometimes I don't, but sometimes it's real strong, like, ooh, I done did this before. Ooh, I done been in this place before, I do have those things, but that's as far as I can remember. So then if that's the case, then everything that we're doing is a duplication of the things that's already happened.
Yep.
Yeah, that's correct.
Okay. 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 So why? Why do this?
That's a good question. Why do what? Make a cycle of people?
Yeah.
That's a real good question. That's one of them questions, sis, that you have to write and tuck away so that when we get to the wilderness, you can ask the Most High why. I don't know. I wish I did. But some of the things, let me go back again so that we can get that under the thing. Let's go back because we got to go back here. She said, why? Wait, let's see why. What did he say? Let's go back to this one where he says, all right, here we go. Let's read this one. Ecclesiastes chapter 3, verse 11. He had made everything beautiful in his time. Also, he has set the world in their heart. Why? So that no man can find out the work that Yah maketh from the beginning to the end. So what does that tell you, sis?
That he wants everything to be a mystery.
Exactly. Exactly. So some of the why we can't answer. That's why I'm very leery about a lot of these Hebrew Israelite teachers that's coming up with this stuff. And it's like, you treading on some dangerous territory when you start revealing and you done found this out and you know what this means. It's like,
That also could mean, too, that we can walk by faith, right?
That's true. That's very true.
I just thought about that when I saw that. I was like, oh, well, that could be what it means, so that they walk by faith.
Yeah. And believe him.
Yeah.
I would tend to agree with that.
Okay. Go ahead.
I was going to say, didn't we discuss before that the prophets of old will be back and that disciples will be back and David will be back, a number of people of our forefathers will be back?
Yeah, we did.
Okay.
Yeah. Now,
but then, how would you? I mean, if that being the case, there could be no other explanation when he says that he knows the beginning from the end. He set the world in motion. I mean, to me, it all makes sense. I mean, when you get those little tidbits of little information and you kind of put it all in perspective, it kind of gives you a broader picture of, you know, how he did what he did. I mean, I'm not trying to just put it out there. I mean, in my understanding, I mean, as we speak about it, those little tidbits of he wrote the book.
What's the book of life?
Yeah. Well, I look at it like this. You know, he said, there's no remembrance of former things, neither shall there be any remembrance of things that are to come with those that shall come after. So, I mean, you know, I look at it like this, that there are those that are coming after us that's coming back. There has to be those that are coming after us that have to come back to the earth because of this right here. Somebody's coming after. So if they're coming after and we're still here, then there's another group that we haven't discussed yet. Because these are the people that will be born again. But there's a whole other group of people that we have to deal with in terms of other things that's going on in the Scriptures. That's why when people say they know that Bible, I mean, you really got to understand it's a lot of stuff going on in that Bible right there. And it's one of the oldest books that's been around that explains itself, but then it doesn't.
Yeah.
So I mean, you know, it's very interesting. I don't know. Let me.
What's the book of life?
Huh?
What is the book of life? You keep referring to the book of life. What is that?
That's a good question.
Gabriel told Daniel. He said that me and your prince Michael are the only ones that gaze upon the book of life. So they're looking at this book that's telling them in the future, because he said that he told Abraham, I'm going to come back this time next year and you're going to have a son called Isaac. So how do we know his name is Isaac? Because they're looking at the book of life.
And it's probably
they gave us this book.
I agree with you 100%. It's probably written in there. And that could be the same book probably is the same book that y'all brought with him on Mount Sinai when Moshe told him to blot my name out the book.
Right. And he keeps telling them that I'm the only one.
Each one of us that we have to fulfill that story.
Right.
Okay.
You know, there's a path that we have to be on, that we have to complete the path. Like you said, assignment. We have to complete the assignment.
Right. Then he told Jeremiah that I knew you before you was in your mother's womb.
Before you was in your mother's womb. Absolutely. Yeah. Okay, here we go. We're going through it again. First, Ecclesiastes 1:9, and I think this is just verse 9. It says, the thing that has been is that thing which shall be, and that which is done is that which shall be done, and there is no new thing under the sun. And then if we go to Ecclesiastes chapter 6, verse 10, it says, that which has been is named already, and it is known that it is man. Neither may he contend with him that is mightier than he. So man has always repeated itself.
Always have.
His name right is known as man.
That which has been is named already, and it is known that it is man.
So that just confirmed what Brother Leonard just said, right?
Mm-hmm.
Right.
That's how he was able to say his name gonna be Isaac.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
It's a replay or a reversion of a story that was already told, according to this.
And so in the book, my name will be such and such, my given name.
Yes, whatever your name is, I believe it's Sanaya. I don't think anything happens by chance. You know, I don't. Probably Sanaya. You know, the only reason why your name is your government name is what it is because we came here in slavery.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? We got to get this part out of our mind. We got to stop thinking about this because this is about to be over. We received these identities when we came here. When your last name is Johnson and Smith and Rebel and all the other names that come with it. We didn't have any of those names. Our names had Yah in it. Some of them did. Some of them didn't. But we had Hebrew names.
Well, that's how you know Satan's behind it because he did the same thing in Babylon. He changed their name. Daniel's name was Belteshazzar, which is that Czar is a god. So he got a god, they god name on the Israelites.
Yeah.
I'm not sure if you've talked about this already, if you shared it, but there's a website called, I think it's slavevoyagers.org.
Yeah.
Okay, all right, okay.
And the names of the slaves are on there, and you can welcome to give it at the end of the class, that you see all the slaves' names that say Yah this and Nathaniah and all kind of stuff is on. They knew who they was going to get. Yah orchestrated this to be the way it was because we had to go through this punishment. They knew.
Wow, okay.
And since if you think...
Wait, I'm sorry.
Oh, okay. I was going to say, well, I mean, if you think about when you were little, you always heard about the cycle of life. If you look at the process of what's going on the earth, the tree leaves always recycle. The sun and the moon always on a cycle. It's always a cycle. Why come you can't be incorporated into the process? I mean, it's always rules that you set to set the world in motion.
Yeah, looks like we are. It looks like we are on a cycle. You know, it looks like it, according to what this says. Now, understanding it and making it make sense, I don't want to lose my mind because I can't. I don't know how y'all did it. A man's trying to do it, but they'll never be able to figure it out. Even the angels, the stories that the angels told, they told in Enoch, you all had the reprobated mysteries. We knew what you was going to do in advance, so we made sure that when we fed you something, it was the reprobated mysteries.
Yeah. So we started with angels, so the angels are spirits.
Yeah. So when they came here, they knew what they was going to do. Can you imagine knowing somebody's going to cross you? You know they're going to cross you. And you have to watch it, and you make sure that the information that you feed them is bogus because you know they're getting ready to go and do and say something that they have no business saying and doing. But you have to watch them fulfill their purpose because they have to do what they have to do because that's who they are. They can't be anybody else. They don't know how to be anybody else. It is in their DNA to do what they do, and that is exactly what the angels were doing. And in the process, even though Samyaza was over everybody and he did what he knew, they knew when they left from wherever it was they left from that they were coming here to do that. It wasn't just no spur-of-the-moment thing, we just all going to make a contract that we going to sleep with the women and create. They knew what was in their heart.
That's right.
Right, that was the purpose of Mount Hermon.
Exactly. So the story is a lot deeper than everybody wants to pretend that it is. And I can understand some people not wanting to go towards the supernatural because it's a lot to have to take in when you realize exactly what you're dealing with. And like I said, in order to keep sanity, some people keep it as practical as they possibly can. And I don't knock anybody for that. If that's where you have to be in order for you to stay sane, stay there. You know, I don't knock anybody for that. You know? But you know
that with every action that is carried out, it first begins with a thought.
So it's already
yes. So it's already in their mind knowing what they're going to do. It's going to happen because you already done processed it in your mind and it will be carried out.
We're going to get to that. We on our way there. Okay, here we go. Ecclesiastes chapter 9. Now we're getting ready to get into the reason for this class. One event. It says, Ecclesiastes chapter 9, verse 2 through 5. He said, all things come alike to all. There is one event to the righteous and to the wicked, to the good and to the clean and to the unclean. That's what he says. To him that sacrifices and to him that sacrifices not. As is the good, so is the sinner. And he that sweareth, as he that feareth an oath. Watch. This is an evil among all things that are done under the sun, that there is one event unto us all. Do you know what that one event is?
No, God.
Death. Absolutely. Watch what he says. Yea, also the heart of the sons of men is full of evil, and madness is in their heart while they live. And after that, they go to the death. So we said it don't matter whether you Israelite or non-Israelite. It don't matter whether you rich or whether you're poor. It doesn't matter whether you sacrifice or whether you swear an oath. It don't matter whether you evil or whether you good. We all have one destination that we have to go to, and we have to meet that destination, and that's death. Hold on. He said, for to him that is joined to all the living, there is hope. For a living dog is better than a dead lion. Now, this, you know who this is. This is Solomon. He said, for the living know that they shall die, but the dead know not anything. Neither have they any more reward, for the memory of them is forgotten. So we all know that we headed somewhere, right? Death is someplace that we have to go. It's something we have to experience. No matter who you are, no matter where you are.
It seems to me that there are different kinds of death, though.
Name them. Tell me what they are. I'm talking about a physical death.
There's a physical death. There's a spiritual death. There may be other types of death. You know, I'm sitting here as I listen. I'm trying to ponder something because I understand in the lesson, but also it seems to me that kind of back where we were last week when it was talking about you must be born again. And to me, even though you die physically, it doesn't necessarily mean that you have a spiritual death, because if you have to be born again, you're still alive. And it may be that you...
Okay, go ahead, I'm listening.
So it may be that when he says that no one can see the kingdom unless they be born again, and he says, I came but the lost sheep of Israel. And so they had to go through him. So until you are born again and you get that spirit, you are not going to necessarily have that physical death. If you do have the physical death, that means that you're going to be lost without the spirit. There will be those that are resurrected to damnation, some to not. But our coming back, being born again, you have to get that spirit. And it may be that at that point when it says that the elders rest, I'm thinking, how is it that they can rest and have that physical death? It's because they actually have received the spirit. And when they're resurrected, they will be resurrected with that spirit. So you have a physical death, you have a rebirth. Once you get that spiritual rebirth, then at that point you can go and rest with the ancestors. But if you do so before you get that spiritual death, you're forever lost.
Okay, hold that thought. I'm going to bring you back to that. Don't forget what you just said, because I need you to repeat that again. Hold on. Okay, here we go. The resurrection of the resurrected dead, who are they? And isn't it funny that she just brought that up? Isn't it funny that she just brought that up? All right, here we go. Deuteronomy 32:39. Watch what he says. He says, see now that I, even I, am he, and there is no Elohim with me. I kill, and I make alive. I wound, and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. And I used to read this, and I would hear people say, well, God doesn't kill. He's about love. He doesn't wound. That's just a metaphor. No, from the Bible that I have been reading, Yah kills.
I know that's right.
And he makes alive. He brings people back to life. He said, I wound. Oh, somebody's phone is loud. Please put your phone on mute. And I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. He does all those things. Wow.
Yeah, and he also says there's no God with me, right? Meaning that even though he has help, the final decision is his.
It's his. Yes, indeed. Absolutely. Even though there is a pantheon of gods there, like you said, he's the big chief. He run the show. Absolutely.
No strange gods.
There are no strange gods there, right? Exactly. Absolutely. All right, here we go. The widow's son. We're getting ready to deal with those people who have been brought back to life. Because along with the prophets and the patriarchs and some of and Daniel and some of the other ones that are coming back, there are also some more people in this Bible that have died, and the Most High has brought them back to life. And I'm dealing with the Old Testament, because I don't want anybody to say, oh, that's New Testament stuff. That's the stuff the new. No, we're going to start in the Old, and we're going to work our way through the New. Here we go, the widow's son. Elijah the Tishbite. 1 Kings 17 is a chapter in which Elijah is first mentioned by name in the Bible. It states that he is a Tishbite from Gilead, who visited King Ahab to give him a message from Yah that there would be no rain in the land until he declared it. Here we go. In order to avoid the wrath of the king, Yah told Elijah to hide by the brook Cherith, where he was fed bread and meat by ravens sent from Yah. So the Most High told the prophet to go hide. He said, I'm going to feed you while you're there. I'm going to put you by the water, so you got water. He said, but I'm going to send the birds to bring you bread and meat. Watch. After a while, due to the drought, the brook dried up. So Yah told Elijah to go to the town of Sarepta, and to seek out a widow that would find him water and food. Elijah learned that the widow had a son, and between them, they only had enough flour and oil for one more meal before they died. Despite this widow's help, Elijah, because she did this, God caused the flour and the oil never to run out. So what happened was Elijah went and told her, if you feed me first, he said, if you feed me first, and then you and your son, I'm going to pray the Most High bless you. Now, how many could have done that? And you know the bowl ain't got enough bread in there but for two people. But he told her, if you feed me first, I'll make sure I'm going to pray to y'all that he bless you. Ain't nobody answered. Could you have done that?
See, that was her fate, too, because he could have been a con man. He could have conned her out of that.
I mean, that's fine. That's true, Brother Kevin. That's true, Brother Kevin, but could you have done it?
You got to look at the times. Back then, they feared the prophet. People don't give two cents about a prophet now, but back then, they feared the prophet, and they knew who he was. So when she said Elijah, when she said Elijah, he told her he was Elijah, she already knew who he was.
Okay, but guess what? They coming back. So if your opportunity comes, Brother Leonard, and you ain't got but a spoonful of food in that bowl, and he said, I need you to feed me first. Could you do it?
Yeah, I can do it.
Okay. Now, everybody done got quiet. Everybody quiet. I mean, this is the stuff when you really start opening up this Bible and realize the faith that it took for some of these people, you know, and you know you ain't got but a spoonful of meal in there. Your stomach been cramping, your son's stomach been cramping, and you're trying to hold out because you ain't got but one more meal left, and then after that it's over. And he come along and say, feed me first.
But see, you know, when you read throughout the Bible at the same time, you have to get the understanding as to how they treated the visitor when they came to the house.
Right, exactly.
It don't matter. When your food is short, it don't make no difference. Because I know some folks now that'll tell you now, to this day, I ain't got enough for me. I'm down on my leg. Now, that sounds real spiritual, but at the end of the day, you'll say, I ain't got enough but for me. I can cook one and we can both eat off of it at the same time. I'll give you half, but to give it to him first?
Right.
Yeah, everybody's not blessed with that gift.
No, it doesn't even have to be their last morsel. They just don't want to.
No, you better say that again. They'll tell you in a minute, I can't do it. I can't help you.
Right.
Watch. Here we go. 1 Kings 17, chapter 17 through 14. It said, and it came to pass after these things that the son of the woman, the mistress of the house, fell sick. And his sickness was so sore that there was no breath left in him. And she said unto Elijah, what have I to do with thee, O thou man of Yah? Art thou come unto me to call my sin to remembrance and to slay my son? That's powerful right there.
Right.
Because they knew that whatever they did, it could fall on their children.
Right.
You know, knowing who they were and what I believe the only reason why that doesn't happen to us today is because we didn't know who we were. And the things that we were made to sin because of the environment that we were in. And the things that we have done has been out of ignorance. Some things. I mean, because you still know you're not supposed to kill nobody. You still know you're not supposed to steal. You know certain things. But it's a lot of other things that we've done to break the law that we didn't know was a law.
Right.
Watch what she says. Watch. And he said unto her, give me the son, thy son. And he took him out of her bosom and carried him up into a loft where he abode. And he laid him upon his own bed. And he cried unto the Most High and said, O Yah, my Elohim, hast thou also brought evil upon this widow with whom I sojourn by slaying her son? And he stretched himself upon the child 3 times and cried unto the Most High and said, O Yah, my Elohim, I pray thee, let this child's soul come into him again. Now, this is important because we got a lot of Hebrew Israelites out there that don't believe in the soul.
Yeah. Yeah.
They believe in the body and the spirit, and that's it. Watch what happened. And the Most High heard the voice of Elijah, and the soul of the child came into him again, and he revived. Any questions?
Yeah, well, if you look at when you first started, you said the breath had left him, but when you came at the end, it said the soul came back. So the breath and the soul is the same thing. Go to Genesis. When Adam laid on the ground, he said he formed a man, but there was no breath in him. Then he breathed life into him. The soul came into him. And then you go to Ezekiel 37, same thing. He brought all of them back, bone to his bone, flesh came upon them. They all laid all over the field, but with no breath in them. Then he said he called to the four winds, and breath came in these bodies, and they lived again. So that means the soul, just like he did with that boy, the same soul that was in there went back in it.
Okay. I mean, I'm not arguing.
What about the spirit?
That's what it is. When you read the verse says that the boy died and there was no breath in him. But Elijah came and called that breath back, but at the end he's calling the soul. He said the soul entered back into him. But when he started, he said the breath left.
Well, Brother Leonard, are you saying that the soul is a spirit?
The breath is when the Bible says with Adam, he said he breathed the breath of life into him. That's the soul came into his body. The body was just, he had formed the body, it was just laying there. Then he said he breathed the breath of life in him. That's the soul.
Well, then what's the spirit then?
There you go. That's what I'm, yeah.
May I say something?
Yeah, the spirit.
What's the spirit?
If you go to the blood, he said the life is in the blood. The spirit is in the blood. That's why he said that Abel's blood cried out. The spirit is in the blood.
I've never heard anybody put it like that. I can roll with that. I've never heard anybody say that, but that makes a lot of sense. I've never heard it. And you're right. He said his soul, the blood cried out because if he had been killed. Yes, I've never heard that. I mean,
And that's why they can't eat blood. He said you got to drain the animal. You can't deal with the blood. The life is in the blood.
He said that's right. The blood is the life. Oh no, I never. Yeah, okay. I don't understand. I never heard that. Okay.
My understanding of soul is the mind, the will, and the emotion.
But it has to come from somewhere. So you know what? Let me say this. I've watched people physically die because of the business that I had, and I have been able to be there when people took their last breath, and when that breath leaves, that body is empty.
Right.
I mean, what he's saying makes a whole lot of sense. When they take, and you don't exhale. Like people say, you don't exhale. That's movies. That's TV. The Most High takes the breath up. So when you breathe up, that's it. You don't get to blow out no more. That's it. I've seen it too many times, and it's happened the same way too many times. Now, once that breath goes into man, I believe that's when the whole soul, the intellect, the emotions, and all stuff starts to move it. But when that breath leaves, that body is empty. No more thought, no more movement, no more anything.
Right. She was talking earlier about death. So if you go back, you got to look at with angels. He created the angels first. Well, we know that when those angels sinned, he came down and he bound them. Because it says, who's afraid of him? Don't be afraid of some man. Be afraid of him that can kill the spirit. So when a human dies, the spirit leaves. He's not dead. The spirit just left. But the angels are spirit. So he said that go down and bound them. Because if he kills them, they ain't coming back. So he said go down and bind them. But with humans die and the spirit leaves. So it's according to what he's talking to. If you get with angels, he binds the angels. He don't kill them. But a human dies and the spirit leaves.
All right.
That's where the regeneration coming in at. Because he's not killing the spirit, but at judgment, he's going to kill the spirit in the lake of fire.
Yeah.
True.
It's true. Brother Henry says, I thought the breath is the spirit and the soul is the body according to Genesis 2:7.
Oh, my gosh. I knew we was going to. Tell Brother Henry to hold on just a minute. Let me get through this because I knew this was going to cause an issue. I knew this was going to cause an issue, but tell Brother Henry to just hold on. We're going to get through this. Because what I'm trying to show you is the power of Yah bringing these people back from the dead. These people have died already. They've been resurrected from the dead through the power of the Most High Yah. You know? Okay, here we go. And Elijah took the child, we're in verse 23. I'm coming, Brother Henry. And brought him down out of the chamber into the house and delivered him unto his mother. And Elijah said, see, thy son liveth. The boy had died. The boy had died. Now, I will say this much, is that I believe each person has their own individual soul, that when he breathes the breath of, let me play with you for a minute. When he breathes that breath of life, or that child out of that womb takes that breath, that is decoding information down into the mind, into the body, for you to start your journey, that each individual breath is catered to that person and the journey that they have to take. Because That's a decoding system. And we all have an assignment that we have to make, and we all have to go through an individual assignment, and we all are being reborn again into this cycle. Then everybody has a mission and an assignment, and that happens at the time of birth when you're able to go into that assignment. Because they say that the spirit realm is open to the child in the womb, and I think for a few minutes after they come out, but it opens again at death, and I know it does. But when it opens, you cannot speak. The ability for us to be able to speak is because of the muscles that we have in the throat to be able to make the sound according to the voice box. And once you get to that point where Yah opens up the spirit realm to you for you to be able to see, all of that stuff relaxes and you cannot talk.
I got a question. This is Doniel. All right, my question is there a soul without the spirit?
No, I think they both have to go. Yes. No, I think they have to all be there together.
Does the spirit have control over the soul? What I mean by that is that you could if the spirit leaves your body, no, you have the spirit and your soul working in conjunction with one another. You understand? Yeah. And so what happens is that you and the soul and the spirit controls all of the factors in your body. You understand? Your mind, you understand your remembrance, you understand, and things such as that. You understand? So what happens I'm just questioning, I don't know. But let's say you get hit by a car. The spirit leaves your body, but somehow or another the spirit comes back, but it doesn't come back, and you lose because you had an accident, or because you died because of the accident. You understand? Your arms is not working, or your spine is not working. All of these things worked before then, when you had the spirit and the soul. You understand? It's kind of hard for me to explain it. Disregard that.
Well, let me say this. From my experience of being around the living and the dead, that once you start the death process, just say it's not spontaneous, nothing has happened, nothing has caused you, it's not an accident or anything like that. You're actually in the death process. Once you start the death process, if Brother Leonard is correct about the life being in the blood, guess what happens? You cannot survive without the blood. And you cannot survive without the breath. So as the blood goes through the body and it's circling the brain and the heart and the arms and all down through the body, through the veins, and it's giving life. This is the spirit. As you begin to go through the death process, it starts to slow down. And that's what your blood pressure is all about, because it goes at a certain speed, a regulated speed, so that the life can go through the body at a certain speed and temperature where it fuels all of the things in the body to keep the body going. Once you start into that death process, it starts to slow down. By the time the soul is gone, the blood pools at a certain position. So they call it lividity. If you are laying down, when you take your breath, all of the blood sinks to the bottom of your body.
Yeah.
To the back. That's what they call lividity. So that it has to go in conjunction with each other. So if something is damaged in an accident, and there's not enough blood circulation going through those items, then yes, you can actually come out of an accident and not be able to do something.
Well, you did you did good with that one, because I sure didn't know what I was talking about.
But I've watched people die, so I know that during the death process, it's just like waiting for a baby to be born. When people die of natural causes, you have to wait until that time. There's a specific time that Yah allows for you to be born and a time for you to die. You just can't will yourself to die and die when you want to. And you can tell some people that's been sick, especially in the nursing home, please take me, God, please. And that's all they do is beg all day long. But until their time comes, they cannot die.
Okay, one more thing. I'm gonna shut up. Can the soul live? I mean, can the soul live without? No. You can't have the breath of life without the soul. I mean, without the soul. The body can't live without the breath of life. Period.
No, or the blood. You can't live without the blood either, because if the blood dries up, you through, whether you're breathing or not.
Yeah, that's correct.
You have to have blood. You can't even breathe without a certain amount of blood in your body.
Yeah, the spirit dwells in the blood.
So what we're saying here is that the blood and the soul, the spirit and the soul is pretty much the same thing.
Right.
No.
Right.
Yeah.
And it dwells in the blood, because when it leaves the blood, like she said, it drops to the bottom of the body.
To the bottom, whichever way you die. That's how they can tell if a body has been moved from the position when it took its last breath, because whatever position you're in, when that breath leaves, that blood settles in that position.
That is correct. That's correct.
Okay, now this is quick. I've heard that the animals don't have spirits; they just have souls. So if it's in the blood, how does that work out? I'm just.
They have life. They have life.
I don't know about that. I don't know about animals. I don't know about that. I can't say that. Does the Bible say that?
I would say that they living creatures, and the Almighty He breathes the breath of life into them, like He breathes the breath of life into us.
Right.
But it's a different type.
I think they are a different cycle.
Right. Well, he said there's terrestrial, there's spirit that's in fish, there's spirit that's in animals, and there's spirit that's in humans.
That is correct.
Exactly. Okay. I don't think it's any different, because you can find a dog that's very temperamental and seem like he a human the way he knows how to do certain things and attack and do something. I mean, I really can't say that. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm. Well, just like you said earlier, you said that the Almighty, you understand, gave us, and each one of us is different.
Yeah.
You understand? So every animal, whether they came out the same mother or whatever, they are different in itself.
Yeah. You have a whole.
True. I mean, that's the reason why everything has its own cycle.
Everything has its own cycle. That's true. Animals. It's just the basic stuff. Go ahead, Brother Leonard.
Well, animals, I looked at this over and over again. Animals, like a squirrel. You have to ask yourself, why, after all the time that the Most High had the earth here, a squirrel, he gonna go find a male squirrel, gonna go find a female squirrel. No matter what happens, you're not gonna see a squirrel with a raccoon, and vice versa. But humans, we all over the place.
That's true.
But the Almighty had already told us not to do those type of things. You understand? But we have this innate sense that we can do what we want to do. But the Almighty had laws that we must not do that. Like all the animals, they follow behind their own kind.
Right.
And that's what we were supposed to be. We were supposed to follow behind our own kind.
Right.
That's true.
But we have that innate mindset. You understand? Mankind. You understand? Have a will of its own. They want to do other women, other nations, and all of that kind of stuff when we're not supposed to do that. That's what the Almighty was trying to give us, those laws that we must follow.
So this is why we have accountability, because if I understand correctly, when we take that breath, not only does that spirit go back, but the mind, the will, and the emotion it's like they're intertwined. So all of who we are, our essence, our mind, our will, our emotion, that breath of life, all goes back to the Creator. And we are accountable because we have free will. But see, I had thought of those as two separate things, but what you're saying is they work in conjunction with each other, and they're not separate.
Well, they are, but they're not, but they are, but they're not. I mean, you can't have one without the other. They have to work together. You can't have the breath without the blood, and you can't have the blood without the breath. They all work together, but when one leaves, the other one stops. It's just simple as that. I mean, you know what I'm saying? And the body is what is left laying. I mean, I've seen it so many times. You know what I'm saying? That the body is left laying. It still has all of the things that it has, the arm, the leg, the nose, the mouth, the teeth, and nothing moves.
True. But you still have, I still have, as the soul, the mind, the will, and the emotion. But you're saying, Brother Leonard is saying that the blood is actually the spirit, and it carries with it that breath of life, but also we know that there is another component to who we are, because we all have a mind, we all have will, we all have emotion, and that's what makes us uniquely who we are, so that when we depart, that essence, and when you said that we took that initial breath and all of those things were downloaded along with that breath of life, but who we were, our mind, our will, our emotion, that essence that makes us uniquely us. Similarly, when we take that final breath and we do that exhale and it departs, those things
go together.
Yeah. Well, our mind doesn't cease to be, our will doesn't cease to be, our emotions. We still are those things that we were prior to taking that initial breath. When we
But it's wrapped up in the soul and it leaves the body. The body is just a shell to house everything, to move the agenda forward. That's all it is. It's more to that, but I'm going to do, you can get me messed up. I'm going to do that in a session, because I believe that they are separate, but they work together, and you can't have one without the other. I believe that the breath is separate than the blood, but they both have to enter let me say this. Because, I mean, you're getting into the womb of the woman. I didn't want to mess with that yet, but I'm going to.
That's right. I couldn't wait till you went there. I know it.
I mean, when you get into the womb of the woman and understanding that the blood is developed in the womb, and that the mother's blood and the baby's blood is separate things, that they have their own blood. That's how, remember we were talking about with the serpent seed, if a woman with negative blood gets pregnant by a positive man and the baby's blood is positive, her body will kill the baby. That's why she has to take the shot, so that the baby's blood doesn't intermingle with hers in any kind of way, because they both can't have even though she's carrying that child, they both have two totally different spirits in them, so to speak. So when you let me think about how I'm gonna say this. When the breath comes, the blood comes into the baby in the womb, but the breath doesn't come into the baby until the baby comes out of the womb and breathes for the first time. That way, because while they're feeding off the mother is the entity that's carrying the thing around. When the baby is born and it takes that first breath, that's when the soul is decoded into the baby and downloaded. But the blood is there, and then the baby starts to be a separate entity of its own, working with its own components. They cut that umbilical cord, and there it is. That's a whole new living being right there with its own decoding system downloaded into him. The spirit and the life, the blood is moving through the baby. And Brother Leonard, I thank you so much for that, because that makes a whole lot of sense.
Right.
It really does.
So when it says that man became a living soul, and he breathed into him the breath of life, and man became a living soul, more than just taking that breath and, I'm alive, it's like, I am who I am.
Exactly. But only thing about that, though, now you got to be careful with that, because only thing about that, though, they didn't have any blood. Adam and Eve didn't have any blood. There was no blood circulating through them, because they were already Oh, my goodness. I ain't going to get into that. But, yeah, you're right. Let's leave that alone for now because I'll go into something else. I don't want to do that. But, yeah, you're right. Absolutely. He became a living soul. It was downloaded into his essence as to who he was and what journey he had to take. Yes.
Another way to look at that is the spirit. The spirit, you can't see the spirit. So the Most High had to create a body to identify each spirit.
Mm-hmm.
So the spirit goes in the body. When he made Adam, the spirit went in, but every other human after that, when it's in the mother's womb, the spirit enters in. The baby has some time in the process, the spirit enters in. So the flesh part of it identifies who the spirit is. Because if it wasn't for the flesh, you wouldn't see the spirit.
Wouldn't see it. Nope.
What am I on, the sci-fi channel?
That's fine. There's something that a lot of times people will say, okay, we've had people that have passed away. How will I know my relatives? But he said, we will know and be known even as we are known. So who we are, even though right now we have this physical body that identifies us. But more than that, this is just an outward shell that's temporarily identifying us.
Sweet pea, you're going to use that shell. It's just, we have to get to that in a whole nother lesson, but you will use that shell. Now, you're going to need that shell. But, again, that's the whole purpose of the womb of the woman, to create it so that you will be able to use it. It'll just be glorified, and we're getting ready to get into that, too, with this lesson. So you will use it. It's not going to be just discarded away like you won't need it no more. It will be used. But understanding the essence of how all of this operates is just powerful. And even with that, even though we say that's deep, it's still deeper than anything we can imagine.
It is. It's going after the supernaturalness of it all.
It is. It really is.
So awesome.
And man been trying to figure it out forever. And, they pretty much can tell you what's wrong with your body at the doctor. They'll tell you in a minute, you have high blood pressure. Well, what does that mean? That means that the blood is moving through your body at a different temperature than it's supposed to because of the things that you're eating, whether it's salty foods or whatever it is. So they give you medicine to slow it down so that it'll move at a rate where the body, all of the organs can get the nourishment and the spirit that it needs to be able to function. That body is a powerful machine. When you really break that, I got enough to Levia to make sure you dust off your lessons. I said, I got lessons that last from now to eons. When you really start breaking this stuff down, because it gets deep. And that's what the supernatural class is all about, to be able to bring these things out. Because you can't do that on Thursday night. People, you have new people, and they're like, I'm confused, I'm lost. And we tell them, if you can't handle the basics, just don't call on Saturday, because we have to have a time for the people who are at this level to be able to discuss it.
And so now we can understand, based on everything we just said, right, what the Messiah meant when he said it's better to enter into life, missing the body part, right? Because you got to fear the one who can kill the spirit.
That's right, kill the spirit. That's right. Absolutely. Because there's one out there that can. Watch what she says, the woman, the widow. She says, verse 24, he said, and the woman said unto Elijah, by this I know that thou art a man of Yah, and that the word of Yah is in thy mouth is truth.
True.
She saw him do something miraculous. When Elijah called that boy's soul back to him, and because he was lifeless, he was laying there, nothing was moving. Everything started back up again, like Brother Leonard said. The spirit went into the blood and started moving through. It's powerful. It's powerful. And he woke up. He revived. And only Yah can do that. He's the only one that can do that. You know how I know? And that's why I tell everybody, when they're all on TV talking about, they're coming back, it's all over YouTube, how they coming back, and they ain't made nothing. Or they wouldn't be abducting people and stealing organs and all that kind of, and stealing eggs and all that. They ain't made a doggone nothing. They can duplicate replicate it and try to duplicate it, but they ain't creating nothing. Because if they did, guess what? They could create their own world and go off and do this again. No. No such thing. All right, the Shunammite woman's son. We got another woman. Here we go. Here's historical data. The woman is described as a wealthy married woman in the village of Shunem. She had no child. This woman got permission from her husband to set up a guest room for Elisha, acknowledging Elisha as a true prophet and a holy man of Yah. Elisha often passed that way in his travels, and he stayed in the guest room. Elisha asked the servant Gehazi, how could we help the woman in return for her hospitality? Gehazi mentioned that she had no son and her husband was old. Elisha then called the woman and told her that she would have a son by that time next year. Now, how was he able to do that? Somebody had to tell him her journey. He had to receive a download from the Most High to say she's going to get pregnant by next year. Watch. The prophecy was fulfilled. The woman had a child, but the story wasn't over. Watch what happened. Several years later, the child came down with some kind of sickness. There goes sickness again. And he died the same day in his mother's lap. She immediately left to find Elisha and asked him to come heal her son. Elisha came back with the woman to Shunem. And when she came, here we go. Now, this is the story. When she came, we had 2 Kings chapter 4, verse 27 through 37. It said, when she came to the man of God, of Yah, to the hill, she caught him by the feet. But Gehazi came near and thrust her away. He said, get off of here, move. And the man of Yah said, let her alone, for her soul is vexed within her. And the Most High have hid it from me and have not told me. Then she said, did I desire a son of my Lord? Did I not say, do not deceive me? Then he said to Gehazi, gird up thy loin and take my staff in thy hand and go thy way. If thou meet any man, salute him not. And if any salute thee, answer him not. And lay of the child. He said, lay it on his face. Lay it across his face. Watch. And the mother of the child said, as the Most High liveth, and as thy soul liveth, I will not leave thee. And he arose and followed her. And Gehazi passed on before them and laid the staff upon the face of the child, but there was neither voice nor hearing. Wherefore he went again to meet him and told him, saying, the child is not awake. And when Elisha was coming to the house, behold, the child was dead and laid upon his bed. And he went in, therefore, and shut the door upon them twain, and prayed unto the Most High. And he went up and laid upon the child. Watch what he did. And he put his mouth upon his mouth, and his eyes upon his eyes, and his hands upon his hands, and stretched himself upon the child, and the flesh of the child waxed warm. What happened, y'all? Something came back in. What came back in, Brother Leonard, for the body to warm up? The blood had to come back in, didn't it? The spirit had to come back in, see, and start to moving around, see, to circulate it into that body for the temperature of the body to change and the body to be regulated at a certain temperature. Yeah. I mean, to have the kind of power to be able to do that. But they got it from Yah.
Yes.
Because through every instance, he prayed and asked Yah to give him the power to be able to do it. That's the stuff we're going to be able to do when our captivity is over, some of us. This is the kind of stuff that Christianity been trying to do since the Romans took it over, and they just ain't been able to do it because the Most High won't let them.
Mm-hmm. They claim they do it.
I ain't seen none.
Me neither.
I ain't seen none. That would be all over the news if somebody raised somebody from the dead.
What verses were those? Was that?
Here, I'll give it to you in a minute. Let me finish. She said, then he returned, walked in the house to and fro, and went up and stretched himself upon him. And the child sneezed 7 times, and the child opened his eyes. And he called Gehazi and said, call this Shunammite. So he called her. And when she was come in unto him, he said, take up thy son. Then she went in and fell at his feet and bowed herself to the ground and took up her son and went out. So this is, Sanaya, this is 2 Kings chapter 4. Let me make sure. Pretty sure I said that. Oh, Jehoiakim. Yep, 2 Kings chapter 4, verses 27 through 37. Or 36.
Thank you.
Powerful stuff. Okay, we're going back. This is our last one. And then we're going to open it up for conversation because I'm telling you I've learned something today. Elisha's bones. This is another situation where somebody was raised from the dead in the Old Testament from the power of Yah through the prophets. Historical data. His name occurs first in the command given to Elijah to anoint him as his successor after learning it in the cave on Mount Horeb. That Elisha, the son of Shaphat, had been selected by Yah as his successor in the prophetic office, Elisha set out to find him. On his way from Sinai to Damascus, Elisha found Elisha, one of them that was plowing with 12 yoke of oxen. Elisha delayed only long enough to kill the yoke of oxen, whose flesh he boiled with the wood of his plow. He went over to him and threw his mantle over Elisha's shoulder, and at once adopted him as a son, investing him with the prophetic office.
Mm-hmm.
Elisha accepted this call about 4 years before the death of Israel's king Ahab. For the next 7 or 8 years, Elisha became Elisha's close attendant until Elisha was taken up into heaven. Elisha then journeyed to Damascus and prophesied that Hazael would be king over Syria. Afterwards, he directed one of the sons of the prophets to anoint Jehu, the son of Jehoshaphat, king of Israel, in the place of Ahab. Mindful of the order given to Elisha delegated a son of one of the prophets to quietly anoint Jehu, king of Israel, and to commission him to cut off the house of Ahab. The death of Jehoram, pierced by an arrow from Jehu's bow, the end of Jezebel, the slaughter of Ahab's 70 sons, proved how faithfully executed was the divine command. That's what it says. We're almost over with. Just 1 second. While Elisha laid on his deathbed in his own house, Jehoash, the grandson of Jehu, came to mourn over his approaching departure. After predicting to Jehoash his victory over the Syrians at Aphek, as well as 3 other subsequent victories ever bold before the king, Elisha died, and they buried him. And uttered the same words through those of Elisha when Elisha died was taken away, indicated his value to him. So he was like, the chariots of Israel are coming, they're coming. They did the same thing when Elisha died. It said people were about to bury a man, but when they saw a band of raiders coming, they simply threw the dead man's body into Elisha's tomb. The Bible says when the corpse touched Elisha's bones, that he revived. Here we go. This is the story. 2 Kings chapter 13, verse 20 through 21. It says, and Elisha died, and they buried him. And the bands of Moabites invaded the land at the coming of the year. And it came to pass, as they were burying a man, that, behold, they spied a band of men, and they cast the man into the sepulchre of Elisha. And when the man was let down and touched the bone of Elisha, he revived and stood up on his feet. Somebody want to say something about that? Wait a minute. It said the touch of his corpse later served as to resuscitate a dead man. A year after Elisha's death and burial, a body was placed in his grave. A year afterwards, as soon as the body touched Elisha's remains, the man revived and stood up on his feet. It says, it has been said that this dead man was Shallum, the son of Tikvah, the keeper of the temple wardrobe in the reign of Josiah, the husband of Huldah, the prophetess. Any questions? How was that possible? Because guess what? Israel, he was in a place with Yah where he had the full support of the Most High Yah, and the power of Yah was in the man's body. And when he died, it was still in the man's body.
That's right. Wow. That is just amazing. He had been dead a year. I'm sorry, say that again? I mean, I was just saying that was amazing because that's what I was going to say a whole year later, and you still don't know how long after that.
Yeah, you better say that again. The man stood up. Breath came into his life. He stood up. Y'all so quiet.
I'm just thinking, this is a slightly different bit, but I'm thinking this is why people are so set on trying to find the Ark of the Covenant and other things that have power. Power still resides in them.
But they can't find them. Most I won't let them find them.
Right.
He won't. He won't let them find them. Because that's the church been trying to find it for years. They've been feeding us a bunch of malarkey for years. If you just pay your money on time and give all your tithes, the Most High going to bless you with power. You shall receive power that shall come on high. After the Holy Ghost has come upon you. And all of us done had what they consider the Holy Ghost and spoke in tongues. And we couldn't heal a headache.
Can I go back to something we started with, and that was faith. Faith on the part of the woman who gave the bread, the last bit of her meal to the prophet. All of this hinges on faith. And I remember this is the New Testament where Messiah says, if you have the faith of a grain of a mustard seed, you can move mountains. I've heard that all the time, but this actually ties in with what we see here. There is power that can be had, but it really is about faith. Us really believing that Yah is who he is, and I think after this period of time that we're in, starting today, 19 months or so it seems, I'm expecting to see this this is my expectation, that this is what we're going to see.
I believe it too, sis. I believe when this is over, we're going to have some serious power. It's those that keep his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. I really do. I really do. I really do.
That's what I was going to say also, the obedience.
Yep.
Greater than sacrifice.
Yes. These are the people that walked with Yah. They did what he said do. They said what he said to say, and it went the way he said it was going to go, so that when they prayed, because guess what? He already doing it for us now. I know in my life I've seen some miraculous things happen since I lined up and started keeping the law, statutes, and the commandments.
Absolutely.
It's just he's just still that small sanctuary. He said it'll be a small sanctuary to you. But imagine when this is all over with and he starts to allow his spirit to go out on us.
It has to be, because when he says, if you thought what I did in Egypt was something, you just wait until I bring it.
Right.
Look, my sister and I, we talk about this. We cannot imagine. But it doesn't rest on our imagination. All we're going to say is, I can't believe it, but I believe it. You know,
I know it. I know it. Powerful. Just powerful. It's nothing other to say than just powerful. This is power. When they can lower a dead man down into the grave of a man that's been dead for a year and he stand up, that's something going on right there. That's way past our pay grade. We weren't brought in on that memo. That goes way past our pay grade. And ain't no Christian, no denomination walking on this earth going to be able to do it. It's going to take y'all, and it's going to take his people to do it. And these are y'all's people that's doing this stuff.
And that's why we study, and that's why I don't know anything about, when you talk about camps, I've never seen him in passing on the YouTube, but the thing is, obedience. And when we do what we're supposed to do, he's going to manifest in us.
Yes, it is.
But that's the reason why, it says hearing comes by the word, and faith comes by hearing, hearing by the word of Yah.
Yeah, yes.
Study, and we learn, and it says we hide it in our hearts so that it's in us. And what's in us will come out.
Yes. All right, let me move on. We don't have that many left. Let's go. It says the resurrection. So I'm going to resurrect. Daniel chapter 12, verse 1 through 3. Daniel chapter 12, 1 through 3. It says, at that time shall Michael stand up, the great prince which standeth for the children of thy people. Watch. And there shall be a time of trouble such as never was since there was a nation, even to that same time. And at that time thy people shall be delivered, everyone that shall be found written in the book. There go that book again. And many of them that sleep in the dust of the earth shall awake, some to everlasting life, and some to shame and everlasting contempt. Why, and they that be wise shall shine as the brightness of the firmament, and they that turn many to righteousness as the stars forever and ever. All right, here we go. 2 Samuel chapter 6. I think this is 1 Samuel. 1 Samuel, the 2nd chapter, 6 and 7. This is the prayer that Hannah prayed. She said, the Lord killeth and maketh alive. He bringeth down to the grave and bringeth up. The Lord maketh poor and maketh rich. He bringeth low and lifteth up. Deuteronomy, here we go, 32, Deuteronomy chapter 32, 39. He said, see now that I, even I am he, and there is no God with me. I kill, I make alive. I wound and I heal. Neither is there any that can deliver out of my hand. So we want to be on the right side of Yah. Now this is very important. I want you to pay attention. This is Psalms 83. Pay very attention to this, and we're going to open the floor in a minute. It says, this is Psalms 83, verse 1. It says, keep not silent, O Yah. Hold not thy peace, and be not still, O Yah. He said, for lo, thine enemies make atonement, and they that hate thee have lifted up the head. They have taken crafty counsel against thy people, and consulted against thy hidden ones. They have said, come, and let us cut them off from being a nation, that the name of Israel may be no more in remembrance. Watch who the hidden ones are. Isaiah chapter 26, 19 through 21. It says, I am saying it again, Isaiah 26, 19 through 21. It says, thy dead men shall live together with my dead body. Shall they arise, awake, and sing, ye that dwell in the dust. He's talking about Israel. Watch. For thy dew is as the dew of herbs, and the earth shall cast out the dead. Come, my people, enter thou into thy chambers, and shut the door about thee. Hide thyself, as it were, for a little moment, until the indignation be overpassed. For behold, the Most High cometh out of his place to punish the inhabitants of the earth for their iniquities. The earth also shall disclose her blood, and shall no more cover her slain. Now this is our last scripture right here, and this is going to sum it up. Ecclesiastes chapter 12, verse 13 through 14. He said, let us hear the conclusion of the whole matter. Fear Yah and keep his commandments, for this is the whole duty of man. Watch. For Yah shall bring every work into judgment, with every secret thing, whether it be good or whether it be evil. All right, any questions?
Now, I just have a comment. I see that's why these other nations are so afraid of us.
Oh, yeah.
No, you are. You know what's coming.
Oh, yeah. They know who we are, Shemaiah. They know who we are. They know the history. And guess what? The people that claim to be us have no power according to what the Most High is getting ready to do.
Yep. Yep.
That's why we tell everybody keep his laws, his statutes, and his commandments. Because we believe that those who have already been resurrected from the dead, because it ain't just a few folks. We just read about those he's already resurrected. The Bible does not say that those people died again. He has to have them in a place. They have to be somewhere. That's why he said, come in and hide, close the door until the time that the Most High comes in, and he comes to judge the earth, and he's coming for his judgment and punishment for the earth for their iniquities. So wherever he has them hid out, they're in a place, but they're up, full with bodies and everything.
Yep. Yep.
Okay, I have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, well, where does Romans chapter 8 come in between about the predestination?
We'll get to that. We're going into that. You hold that question because I don't want to get into the New Testament. I'm trying to work my way there.
Sorry.
But guess what? Like we said with the book, think about the book. The book of life is written. The Most High brought the book with him, right? So all of our names are written in the book. And y'all know those that are his. He knows who's predestined to make it and who's not.
Right.
We just don't know.
Yeah.
And even though they put it in the Bible and it's in the book and it's in part of the book that's supposed to be to the Gentile, that's about Israel.
Yeah, I totally believe that because I'm reading it right here, and it seems like the one. Okay, you said you didn't want to talk about it, so
but go ahead. You go ahead. You can let it go. Let me see what time it is because I got 5 more minutes before I cut the recording off. So go for it.
Because it seems like he's talking about the ones that he predestined, the ones that he did foreknow. He did predestine to be confirmed to the image of his Son, that he may be the firstborn among many brethren, and whomever, moreover, whom he did determine, them he also called. Them whom he called, them are also justified, and whom he justified, them he also glorified. Then what shall we say to those things? Yah be for us, and who can be against us? That he spared not his Son, which we know he died for us, but delivered him for all of us. How shall he not be with him also freely give us all things? Who shall lay anything to the charge of Yeshua's elect? Is it Yah that justifies? Who is he that condemns? Is it Yah HaMashiach that died? Ye rather that is risen again, who is even at the right hand of Yah, who also makes intercession for us, who shall separate us from the love of the HaMashiach? Shall tribulation or distress, persecution, famine, or nakedness, or pearls of sorrow? As it is written, for your sake we are killed all the day long.
Okay, now let's stop right there. But basically, what we're saying is, that's what we said earlier, is that there is a group of people that, well, everybody's starting over again, but there is a group of people that will do mighty exploits. Those people are going to go through the motions. Some people are going to die. Some people are going to die for the cause. Some people are going to die for the testimony and everything. So, I mean, everybody has a part to play. That's why I have to work my way there so you can see the story. Because we first introduce the resurrection of the dead. And we have to introduce that because it happened in the Old Testament. They resurrected the dead.
Okay.
Yeah.
To understand that the body plays a part, and Brother Leonard, with that blood and that spirit, man, the light bulb went off. Yeah. It did. I just want you to thank you so much. Oh, my gosh. It makes the more sense of it all because they all work together and they have to work in conjunction with each other. You can't be fully functioning with one without the other. You have to have it. You have to have it. You have to have it. And the supernatural part about it is those people are now living and they've been raised from the dead, but guess what? They're not supernatural. They still humans. They just still living.
But nobody knows where they're at, right?
Nobody knows where they are.
You know what I do, but I'll wait.
Yes, please.
I know where I read.
My brain is hurting.
Yeah, I know where I read it. Okay, I'll wait.
Okay, yeah, just hold on. Because next session we're going to bring it all out, but just hold on. Because, yes, they are. Now, how the Most High was able to do that, I guess they human. I mean, let me shut up because, I don't know. For real, at the end of the day, I don't know. They still living. And then I heard this one pastor talking about Lazarus died again. I was so mad. I was like, that is error, and there is nowhere in that book that say Lazarus died again. Nowhere. But, again, we dealing with people that have the whole church at their disposal and people who don't read. So you can pretty much tell them anything.
Yeah.
All right, you guys. Well, this has been an excellent class. Again, we can stay around for a moment and discuss some of the things that we weren't able to discuss on cue. But I want to give everybody a chance to say shalom before we leave and before we cut the recording off. So if everyone would say shalom, I want to say tomorrow, before you guys end it tomorrow, we're meeting for the Blog Talk Radio Show. It's 718-664-9551 at 3:30 p.m. Eastern Standard. All right, everybody. Well, thank you so much for joining us, and shalom.
Shalom.